Welcome to another wonderful evening of World Warships. We're out in clan battles this evening. This will be 5D3 against its brethren in 5D4. Been a few matchups before, and when we have our A team out, we tend to win, and when we don't, 5D has taken a few of these. So we will see how this one turns out. You can see the trash talking already starting on the left-hand side of the screen. Quite frankly, I don't pay too much attention to that chatter on the side. So I'm going to lay in here behind this island. I'm there because I can fire onto the onto Bravo, and if necessary, provide radar coverage for C. Um, the destroyer, the gearing starts to come in, and first up, the Yu Yang has some radar, and he lights him up. The gearing is, there's some shots taken at him. I'm behind the island, so I can't actually shoot at him, and I sort of need this island to protect my broadside because the Moscow is so easy to citadel from the side. And then once the radar is worn off from the Yu Yang, then I'll pop mine, which I do here, and we can see there's the gearing turning around and coming back. So again, there's some folks that can get shots off. I'm principally dueling with the battleship. That's the only thing I can really have a shot at out here at this point. And my radar runs out and it goes dark. So the gearing is in the circle in C with the Yu Yang. I'm not in a position to do much about it at this point. Unfortunately, our DD driver forgot he was driving a Yu Yang because, well, we'll let that develop. So I'm firing on the Montana, and the Montana actually comes to a stop, and I overshoot him with one salvo, but it will it'll be corrected on the next round. He's shooting back at me, and head on I can actually stand, doing gunnery with the Montana at long range. So I'm going to continue to fire on the Montana. It's the only thing I really have that I can do any damage against at this point. He keeps on blinking out, and I'm guessing where to shoot at there. If I were to try and poke my nose around this island, there's 3 cruisers that'll have my flank, so I'm just going to be content to continue to plink away at this Montana. He's doing a pretty good job of altering speed and dropping out of detection. Alright, so now our 2 DDs are going at it. Our Yu Yang tries to torp the gearing, but he has the wrong types of torps for it. The gearing torps, however, work just fine on a destroyer. And down goes the Yu Yang. Now the gearing at this point is going to go out of detection. He's going to pop some smoke here and try and get back in the cap. However, he's close enough to me that I can just pop my hydro, which I do here, and he's a sitting duck for our battleship, which is back to my right, and in one fell swoop, down he goes. So we traded DDs. Probably should have had a better part of that exchange, but now it's like, well, what do we do? We're down 1 ship. We've lost a cruiser over an A, and so we're going to have to go in and take C. I am the closest. The Moskva is one of the, as they joke, is the one ship that can be spotted from space. It has one of the worst detection ranges of any of the cruisers um, out in the game. But it appears that everyone is either outside of my detection range or behind an island, so they don't know I'm moving up. I could think about firing on some folks, but I'm going to stay gun dark until I get in the circle here. Luckily, the gearing was so kind as to have left me some smoke, so I'm going to go in and start to sit in there. Don't know how much longer is left on this smoke. Um, I'm a little bit afraid of what I'm going to turn up here because the Moskva is so easy to citadel from so many different directions. Um, and everybody likes to shoot at a Moskva. So I'm going to go full speed into the cap, at which point I'm going to start to slow down. They should notice that the cap is now turning green, and so there's probably some folks creeping out to take a look at it. I'm principally concerned about a couple cruisers behind this island right in front of me. They would be in a position that, depending on which way they come around the island, they could citadel me. I do get detected. It is the Hindenburg off to my left here. I'm not too worried about that. My citadel is mostly behind the island. I'm worried about the cruisers that are thinking about popping out. So I'm going to turn around and go bow on to the off to the Des Moines over here. The Minotaur from across the board is trying to fire at me. I've turned inside a number of his shots, and he's behind and short, and I think about here I go out of his range, and so he'll stop shooting at me. I get into a very strange position in that I'm capping. They know where I'm at, but nobody has a line of fire to get to me. I was sort of hoping one of them would pop out so I could shoot at them, but I don't need to go looking for trouble. This is not the most maneuverable ship, and it's a pretty potent adversary if you bow onto somebody. Pretty much any other angle, and bad things happen to it. Bad shots from, I don't know where those came from, but not even close. So, taking a look here, we've almost capped C. Alright, we got C. They've taken A, which is not good. And so the question is, what's next? Moskva is probably my biggest adversary. Our Hindenburg is dueling with him. Alright, down goes the Moskva. So I'm going to go after their Des Moines, or Rigo, behind the island here. And about this time, Insidious decides to come forward. And so we come to emergency turn here. And I don't want to be shooting him. So I'm going to slow down a little bit, let him cut inside of me. And then I'm going to come back on, bow on to the Des Moines here. And now the Des Moines has a pretty good rate of fire. I'm gonna go bow on with him, and I believe for the most part, if I can knock out his front guns, I can take him. But he's being pummeled both by the battleship behind me, and the Hindenburg is creeping around the backside. And we start to put shots on each other. He's got about 5,000 points left, and get about 1,400 there. Some additional shots. He's down to about 2,000, and put him down. All right. Now I'm in a very bad position. I have got my backside to to a Moskva and a battleship. I could come out and try and turn right, but that'll leave me with a long exposed turn, and I would probably be sunk. So I'm going to take it a little bit longer, but a little more protected turn around here. Our Montana decides to creep out there, and he's now sort of pincered between the Moskva and their Montana, so I try and help out a little bit. Fire on their Montana. I don't have shots on the Moskva, but now I have room to turn around and get back in the fight with a protected turn. All of the attention is on the Montana, and it looks like the Moskva is going for the ram, and in fact the Moskva does ram and sinks our battleship. So now we have 3 cruisers against a battleship, a cruiser, and a destroyer. So this is getting kind of dicey. We've had a few missteps. I think a few things we'd like to have back if we could do over again. We are up on zones, we're down on points, and while the number of ships is equal, it's a fairly irregular contingent. That battleship potentially, well, should take out any one cruiser by himself. Now I'm deciding which way the battleship is going to go. At first I thought I would come around to Insidious' side of the island, but pretty clear which way the Montana's going. So I'm going to turn back to meet him. Got some time to prepare for this, so I'm going to switch over to AP. I should have his broadside. And start plinking away at him. So bow on. I don't have too much to worry about from him. At 4,000, it's another 3,000 off of him. As long as he'll keep on showing me his broadside, I'll keep on peppering it. Another 4,000 off of him. He's learning his lesson. He's starting to turn away. So now I'm gonna. I think I have one more round where I try AP on him, and then I should. Yeah, I'm switching over to HE now. And now the Montana's trying to sink the Hindenburg behind me. He's mostly leaving me alone, which is just fine. We're burning him pretty good, and the HE into the superstructure has the desired effects. He's going down here, and I guess Insidious takes him down. So now we've got 3 cruisers on a cruiser and a destroyer. It looks like we're up on this again. I'm going to do a quick shot out on the out onto the gearing out there. At this sort of range, he's a pretty nimble target, so miss him. I'm going to see if I can get some more shots on him. He's going behind the island, so I'll switch over to the Minotaur. And looks like Vendo took care of the destroyer. Can he ram the Minotaur for the win? No. Down goes Vendo. Now, somehow I'm still spotted, and he can shoot at me, but I can't see him, which makes no sense. I think this portion of the game mechanics is broken. But there he is. He pops back up again. By this time, I got some AP on him, and I get a Citadel. No problem Citadeling him from this range. He starts to dodge behind the island, and he loses line of sight on me, and he starts just firing wildly. I suppose I could have fired on him, but for the most part, I'm trying to sneak into to B. I could have guessed where he was at, but I'd be shooting as wildly as he was. And I'm gonna pop into B, get into B, and come about the middle of the island, and I'll come up to a stop. I think at this point, either it was Mel or Vendo telling me to stop. But saying, no, I got this. Now, at this point, we also told Insidious to turn south and run away. He decides he needs to come help out in B. And the problem is that the Minotaur has the best stealth at this. And you look at the trash talk on the side of the game, the side of the text saying "good game," no, it's not over. I tend not to like to chatter too much while the game is going on, so I'm going to concentrate on what to do here. I know I'm located, so he has a pretty good idea where I'm at, and I don't know which way he's going to come around the circle. Now, at this point, I guess Insidious got spotted and fired on by the Minotaur and one-shotted. The Minotaur also radars me. Now, I'm not going to get too excited about this because, one, I actually want him to see what the setup is and make a decision and let him come forward. The other thing is the Moskva radar is a little shorter in duration. So I pop my radar, and there he is. And got AP loaded, all ready to go. If the radar had stayed up, I think I would have had a Citadel. My radar goes down here in about a second, just short, and I lose track of him. I get sighted, but it's another second or so before he pops up, and I get off the first rounds. I don't know how I didn't Citadel him there. Got two of them, but 3 overpens and a shatter. He torqued. Most of them missed. I got the one by the slimmest of margins. Now at this point, I'm going to pop a repair and keep on firing. And he continues to torque me, and it looks like they sunk me. However, let's do this in slow motion, and right about there, you can see we in fact won this 1,000 to 987. This caused no small amount of dispute because 5D4 thought they had won because they had sunk all the enemy ships. But the important thing is who wins first, and this screenshot in fact shows that we won first, and then the torpedoes hit. The game does continue on to a final conclusion, but we'd already won it at this point. And this created some salty exchange, but that's also okay because we need salt for our French fries, and we'll take the win by whatever margin is necessary to beat them.